Living with and managing POTS. What is POTS? POTS, also known as postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, you may have been hearing about more cases popping up all throughout society and have no idea what it is. I wanted to make this video to educate people with and without POTS, as someone who got diagnosed roughly around 2023 and has been learning to manage my symptoms and trying to have a less bleak outlook on the diagnosis in question. If you or someone you know has POTS, this video might help you understand the experience and steps to live a full life with this disability. POTS is a nervous system disorder that comes with a wide variety of symptoms, making it harder to diagnose and differentiate from other disabilities or illnesses. POTS was originally discovered and named in 1993, despite likely being around for much longer. The disability became even more common once COVID hit, particularly in women aged 16 to 19. There isn't as much research on POTS as it's still considered relatively new, and it may be hard for you to find a doctor that knows of or specializes in POTS cases. But how do you know if you have POTS? One of the hallmark symptoms is an irregular heart rate that drops and rises dramatically. The average person's heart rate should range from 60 to 100 beats per minute, while somebody with POTS might have a resting heart rate of 120 to 140 beats per minute. This can be very dangerous, as the risk of heart attacks and fainting become heightened. Things like showering, exercising, cooking, or doing anything physical start to bring on more symptoms. One of POTS' main symptoms is blood pooling, causing the increased heart rate. Your heart can't pump blood fast enough throughout the body, and can't get enough blood to your head, making standing dangerous as you quickly become a fainting risk. Please remember, you do not need to faint to have POTS. The common idea of what fainting feels like is not at all how it is in real life. TV and media make it seem like you fall asleep and you're just out like a light for an extended period of time. And while it may vary from person to person, fainting is more like blacking out for what feels like a second. You can still hear, but you can't move your body and your vision goes dark. For most people, fainting lasts only a few seconds or minutes. A common symptom among POTS patients is temperature intolerance. Imagine you're cooking a big pot of soup for your family. You might start to feel dizzy. Things begin to feel like they're moving in slow motion. Your ears might begin to ring and your stomach begins to turn, completely ruining the idea of eating the food you cooked altogether. Some POTS patients get extreme nausea while not having anything to throw up. This causes them to produce an excess amount of saliva in their mouths as their body assumes it needs to get something out of it. You might begin sweating profusely, even at what others consider a normal temperature. Your hands become shaky, and extremities like arms or legs might become numb and have that pins and needles feeling to them. In extreme cases, POTS patients might have episodes where they cannot walk without assistance or the use of a mobility aid. But how do you even get POTS diagnosed? We all know the health system sucks, especially if you're a woman. You're often told that it's in your head or that you're making it up for attention. This makes it feel very isolating, and you may even begin feeling unsure if you have POTS to begin with. Advocating for yourself is always extremely difficult, especially when, if you're educated on a certain disability or illness, doctors might write you off as someone who is self-diagnosing yourself. In my, and many other people's experiences, getting a POTS diagnosis feels impossible. I remember I went to a hospital due to all the symptoms listed in the last section. They kept me at the hospital for several nights, and eventually brought a physical therapist to test my walking ability. I held onto the handlebars on the hospital walls as tight as I could and tried to keep my body upright. After doing these tests, my physical therapist left, and I was discharged shortly after. Once the medical records came through, I saw he had put in my chart that I was faking it, completely invalidating my personal experience and making me feel as if I had gaslight myself into having a disability. This, of course, was not true. I didn't give up, and I kept going to more and more doctors with the support of my family and loved ones. But everybody I went to would just send me to a completely unrelated doctor. During my time of trying to get diagnosed, I had 3 MRIs, 2 CAT scans, multiple x-rays, IV fluids administered, and finally, the dreaded tilt table test. The tilt table test is a procedure where you are laid down on a table with monitors hooked up to you to check your heart rate, blood pressure, and other things the nurse might need to put in your notes. You get strapped onto the table tightly, and once the test begins, the table gets lifted up to be in an upright standing position. The time a tilt table test needs can vary, and for some, they may give you nitroglycerin to speed up the symptom effects. For me, I had been standing for around 20 minutes and was updating the nurse every time I felt a bad symptom, which was literally all the time. Eventually, she gave me nitroglycerin, and I immediately passed out. The room went dark, and and I could feel my body being laid back down. I could vaguely hear voices of the nurses monitoring me, but couldn't make out exactly what they were saying because of the loud ringing in my ears. Once my vision came back, they told me I had POTS. I left the hospital and drove home, feeling both extremely sick and also a mix of happiness that I was finally being taken seriously, that it wasn't all in my head, but also the dread for the future. POTS is a lifelong condition with hardly any research done into curing it. I knew I would never be quote-unquote normal again, that I would never be able to keep up with the people around me. I felt as though I was dragging people down by having to take so many breaks or by turning down things I would have loved to do normally, but couldn't because of my symptoms. None of my doctors had told me the next step for my POTS. They just said I have it and that was that. Until I checked my medical records, that is. I'd gone to many different doctors throughout my diagnosis journey, from cardiologists, neurologists, POTS specialists, and more. But along the way, one of the doctors saw my tilt table test diagnosis and removed it from my medical records, saying she just chalked everything up to extreme anxiety. I still do not have my original diagnosis, and that's left me feeling extremely discouraged because of how long it took to get in the first place. All the breakdowns and times I would fall down the stairs, pass out in the kitchen, not be able to shower myself properly without extreme sickness, all of it was and is being denied and invalidated. That's the thing with the health system. You need to advocate for yourself, and you need to be aggressive with it. For so long, I let these people tell me it was all in my head. Meanwhile, I have been experiencing this for 6 years. Nobody can tell me I don't have it, because I am in my body day in, day out. And if you have been put down or invalidated in a similar way, regardless of if you have POTS or another disability or illness, know you are not alone. With enough fighting and support from the people around us, we will get the help we need. Even before you get your diagnosis, you may feel isolated from the people around you, like nobody can understand the pressure on your body that it's going through. Many people are not educated on POTS due to it having such minimal research, with most people's knowledge coming from someone they know has it. Other people may assume your limitations for you, despite you being the one going through it. This all comes from a place of worry, but it can feel stifling or as though you're being babied. One of my ex-friends used to cook often for our friend group, and despite me saying numerous times that most foods make me sick and cause my symptoms to get worse, she would plate a mountain of food for me and proceed to be upset that I couldn't eat it all or that I got extremely nauseated from it and wasn't participating in the planned activity. After all the dismissal from doctors and being treated as if you don't know what you're talking about, things like this can make you feel dismissed, not taken seriously, and just completely ignored about your feelings and opinions. Some people might see your POTS as just an excuse to be lazy, saying you're out of shape and that's why your heart rate gets so high. No matter how much you protest, it'll still be said, especially if you're over the average weight. Others might see it as a reason to treat you more delicately and to not invite you to do certain things that might cause your symptoms to flare up. It gets lonely as you start seeing the people you love stop including you in things you used to physically be capable of doing. It might feel like the things you do are more limited now. Things like going to a grocery store, exercising, going on bike rides or walks, showering, any activity you can imagine becomes exponentially harder with POTS. But once you learn to better manage your symptoms, you can still enjoy and be a part of the world and the community that you want to. POTS symptoms can be exacerbated by mental and physical stress, really anything that puts your nervous system out of whack. If you moved a lot more one day, and the next you may feel your symptoms have worsened. The best way to manage your symptoms is to know your symptoms. Try keeping a journal that tracks your heart rate and blood pressure on certain days. Include what you did that day to narrow down the cause of flare-ups. That way, you can plan around certain things. I know that when I shower, I feel much sicker the rest of the day, so to prevent it affecting any plans, I try to shower the day before rather than waiting the day of said event. With things like cooking and showering, you have to face those nearly every day. The best fix is a mobility aid. It might feel scary to be buying things like shower chairs, canes, wheelchairs, or rollators, but they up your quality of life tenfold. I genuinely think I'd be putting off eating and showering if I didn't have any mobility aids to assist me. Companies like Nova make mobility aids of all kinds. If you're mobile one minute but can't walk the next, a rollator/wheelchair combo might be good for you. These can get pricey, so if you can get it covered by your insurance, then you should, especially when it comes to wheelchairs. For me, I use a wheelchair my grandma gave me, but you can find some for cheaper prices on Facebook Marketplace or going to thrift stores, garage sales, and estate sales. Sodium is a POTS patient's best friend. This makes your body retain more water, and water is also a key part in keeping your symptoms from going crazy. Things like Liquid IV or other drink mixes that are high in sodium are a huge help to have if you're on the go or just sitting at home. My personal favorite is the Liquid IV strawberry lemonade flavor, but there are a lot of people who dislike the sugary artificial flavoring. For For those people, I recommend salt tablets or pills. You can easily keep these on you at all times in a small pill container. Another medicine I recommend is Dramamine, a nausea suppressant. For me, I'm almost always nauseated and feeling like I'm gonna throw up, but if I know I'm about to do something or eat something that will make my symptoms worse, I take some Dramamine. There are obviously other medication alternatives you can try. It all depends on what feels right for you and your body. POTS is not a one-size-fits-all disability. Take a minute to sit with your body. Really think about what it is you're currently feeling. Most of managing your POTS is knowing and understanding your body, but especially listening to it when it says it needs something. If your limbs are going numb, put on some compression socks and elevate your legs to get the blood back to your heart and head. Compression socks are helpful no matter what, and can help prevent your symptoms from worsening if you're doing anything physical. Even if you don't have POTS, I recommend buying some socks to help improve blood flow. Lastly, be kind to yourself. POTS is already hard enough to live with and get diagnosed, and the world can be cruel. You don't need to add to that cruelty. As we get older, we slowly stop being taken care of, and it becomes our responsibility to take up that mantle, because who else will? Most people don't listen to their bodies and take care of themselves properly. Things like drinking water whenever you can or eating when you feel hungry get thrown to the wayside, either just out of forgetfulness or out of self-hatred. You may feel like it doesn't matter, but it does. Everything we do affects us and our body, and it's your life. Nobody else will live it for you. It may feel like you're doomed to live a life of constant sickness, but that doesn't need to be true. Being able-bodied is a privilege many take for granted, and even if you have POTS, you're going to have more health issues as you age. This world is not built for people outside of the norm, despite us all needing medical help eventually. That's why it's important to take care of yourself when you can and to appreciate what you are currently capable of, as you never know when that'll change. Things like car accidents happen so frequently and can disable someone for life. Or like with COVID, plenty of people, like myself, were relatively healthy prior to getting the virus, only to have our lives turned upside down in an instant. We have to live our lives to the fullest while we can. You might have to go slower than everybody else and pace yourself more, but you still can enjoy and have a high quality of life. Holding yourself back from doing activities you enjoy is only hurting you, and if the people in your life truly care about you, they won't mind slowing down so you both can enjoy experiences together. Even if you feel like a burden, communicate with the people around you, but especially communicate with yourself. Things will get easier to manage if you keep going.